looks high, he's going to be okay. Bush carries in, he's forced by Connor Howe offside, and now they're exchanging unpleasantries.
Well, I'll tell you what, Shea Bush is the biggest player. Well, actually, the goaltender for Prince Albert is the biggest player, but the second biggest player is Shea Bush. He can lower the boom. Drafted in the 4th round by the Florida Panthers at 6'3", 215 pounds. The former Vernon Viper of the BCHL. He's one of those guys that he could turn a game around with their physical presence, and he's looking to, kind of get his team back a little bit. Looks like they're going to be sending a couple of guys off. So, Peter, we're going to see some 4-on-4 hockey here. That should be interesting.
Boychuk will go for the Raiders. Jesse Heslip takes a seat for Everett. And here's what led to it.
That was a big hit by Bush. And those big guys, even if they don't have a straight on, like even if they don't have like a bullseye shot, he's so big and strong that even if he just catches a piece of you, he could do damage. Created the most offense for Prince Albert tonight.
Haven't scored, but they've been around it all period long. Miller having trouble squeezing it, and finally the whistle blows, and now we're going to have probably penalties. And we'll see if it's coincidental.
Things are getting a little feisty. I think he's going to send them both. We're going to see some 4-on-4 hockey. But I talked a little bit earlier about Steve Hamilton and our conversation with him earlier today, Peter. Didn't you find him to be extremely relaxed? I always feel like when the chips are down a little bit and doesn't go your way and you lose a hockey game and you're wound up tight, players feed off of that. We talked to him. He was completely relaxed. I mean, he basically said, listen, we knew this was going to be a great series. We knew
the wrister, and nice job in front by Ueda and Blueswick to box the Raiders out, and now they look like they might box, period.
Well, sometimes, Peter, the best defense is a good offense. So if you're worried about the other team pulling to within a goal or scoring, why not have the puck in the other team's end and create offense? They can't score from 180 or 190 feet away. And so, again, it's that Miettinen, Van Hanen, who's been a little quiet tonight, quite honestly, and Bearline that get this kind of work down low done. There's a great chance right there, and I don't know how that puck doesn't go in, quite frankly. I mean, that's crazy to think that somehow stayed out. But these guys have done a really
Ryan McDonald unhappy about the faceoff staying in the zone. That's why he was having words with referee Campbell. Felt like it was Bush who was the reason for the net coming off its moorings, and again, some extra chatter. And we might have coincidental penalties, in fact, when this skirmish is all said and done, including the newcomer to the series and the playoffs, Hubert Clark, who is involved.
I don't know if we could be more impressed with the way he's played in this game.
The two referees make their way towards center ice to chat about it.
Well, they're talking it over. Justice Christensen makes his way over to try to get in on the conversation. Are they going to...
He's strong in his stick. Liskey, DuPont, Orsolak, and Mann in a wrestling match in front of the net.
Well, I don't know exactly what got under Matches Mann's skin, but he kind of snapped a little bit there, Peter. He was not a happy man, but I'll tell you what, I give the defenseman there, Bennett Kelly, a lot of credit because he was playing with a lot of pain there after taking that little shot, and you could tell he just kept battling and battling and battling. Might have saved a goal. He blocks the shot right there, Peter, and you could just see that the kind of pain he's in, he's wincing. But like we've seen at different times in this series, see, he's battling and battling there. Miettinen with a really good opportunity, and if it's not for him continuing there, and then you see a little bit of extracurricular activity, he's going to get a penalty.
Does very well to Gould. Orsolak trying to hang on, and he'll do just that.
What a great pass by Van Honen. You could call it a shot, you could call it a pass, call it whatever you want, but he wasted absolutely no time in getting that puck to the front of the net. And Ryland Gould almost had himself another power play goal, Peter.
Cripps into it with Van Hanen. Clark involved too. In the corner with, I think that's Bear, which is no surprise to anyone.
Well, it is getting a little testy. You're absolutely right. What you said a couple breaks ago. Now it feels like after every second or third whistle, guys are getting the gloves up. But you know what? That's hockey. That's what happens. You get these series, and guys test. You know, the testosterone starts to boil, and this is what's happening here.
I really like the fact in this case that the referees are letting them sort it out amongst themselves.
You know, I think it's funny you bring that up, because I was just thinking to myself about 2 breaks ago as we were going to a break, one of my comments was going to be how good a job these guys have done in this game. They've kind of called the
Dupont. Wrist shot, turned aside. Bear takes a big hit. At the buzzer, there's going to be another penalty to the Raiders.
Kelly.
And that won't be received well.
And you know what really hurts there, Peter? It happens basically at the buzzer with no time left. It's not like it would have made any difference one way or the other if he wouldn't have done it. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of awareness of the situation and the timing. And I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to play tough, but you can't make that decision with that time in the game.
So Everett, who tied the game in the later stages of the second on Luke Blueswick's first of the playoffs, will have a lengthy theater. Liskey steams in the other direction, and it's offside. Can't wait to get a look at just how close the Raiders came to tying it, but before that, we've got an altercation.
Surprise, surprise.
And we might have penalties. In fact, we're going to have penalties.
Severson just delivered a left hook.
And
right
this
to the
is where
face
you
of
really
Van
have
Honen.
to be careful.
Man, Prince Albert Raiders have just had no luck at all, Peter. And they don't count as shots, right? You don't
they don't.
You don't get a shot for hitting the post, and they've hit 4. You don't. We haven't had too many skirmishes that have gone on this long.
No.
Things are really getting testy. And is it fair to say that it's possible that the Prince Albert Raiders might be getting a little frustrated too?
Very much so. Hard not to be.
Yeah.
So Christensen, who ended up without a helmet, he's going to make his way to the penalty box. And we'll see what our 2 referees working the game tonight, Jeff Ingram and Ward Pateman, the linesman Dustin Minty and Troy Semenchuk. Van Honen is into the penalty box. So far, it looks like Everett might have a power play. Seconds after Justice Christensen was so close to turning on the red light.
Well, watch this, Peter. And these are not shots that are skimming the post either. Like, I mean, they're hitting them like a rocket and bouncing straight out. Hitting it, no.
Chance to steal in front. They score! Shea Bush after a blown tire. And Everett leads again by a pair.
Peter, I don't even know what to say. You get 2 goals called off at one end and 1 opportunity at the other, and bang, it's in the back of your net. What a pass.
Shea Bush will have his 4th goal of the playoffs, his first since game 2 of the
Against
Penticton series.
April 25th. But the 4th rounder from the Florida Panthers, he picked a good time to score that goal. How about that pass by Zachary Shantz? That's, Peter, it's hard to stop a 220-pound man from getting to the net when he wants to get there.
Kelly, sometimes things just aren't meant to be. What are the chances that not one, but two